You are my strength, Lord, strength like no other, strength like no other, Lord, and it reaches to me in the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name. You lift me up. You lift me up. In the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name. You lift me up. You lift me up. You are my peace. Peace like no other. Peace like no other. And it reaches to me. You are my peace. Peace like no other. Peace like no other, Lord, and it reaches to me. Come on, y'all, reach up there and get it. And in the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up. You lift me up. In the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up. You lift me up. Hey, you are my peace. Peace like no other. Peace like no other, and it reaches to me. Ha, to the late, to the Lou, to the young. Good morning, everybody. Brother Rick, today I'm talking to you for a few minutes because we're moving around, doing things today. I have to run and get a haircut right quick. And then we're going to finish the last day of our financial IQ challenge today. Good morning to you. That's why I'm up early, talking to you all for a few minutes before I go. I have a prayer request for you. The young man who's cutting my hair, he has a son, and the son's name is Layson. This gentleman's name is Mark. And Mark just called me and said, Ricky, I'm running a little bit late. He said, because my son, Layson, is in the hospital and that he was in intensive care. So I want y'all to pray for Layson. And because my man is still coming to work, he's still coming to cut my hair. And I was like, man, you're a real soldier. You're still coming to work, man. You know, he said he was in the hospital all night. They don't know what's wrong with him, but he's still coming to work today. So you all pray for Brother Mark. The young man is cutting my hair here in Orlando. And you pray for Layson, Lacen is his son's name. All right. Let's all pray for him. Good morning, all. Hope you have a wonderful day. Good morning, cousin Waddell. How you doing, my brother? Good morning, peace, Faith. Good morning to you, Alberto. Good morning to you, and good morning to you, Deborah. How are you? Good morning to you. Is that Tareen here? Good morning to you. That's a Tarian. It's probably Tarian. It's probably correct. Cool Cuts. Good morning to you. Eagle. Good morning to you. Stainless Boss. Good morning to you. Kendra. Good morning to you. W.M. Taylor. Good morning to you. Matt Mine. Good morning to you, Brother William. Good morning to you. Stainless Boss. Good morning to you. And let's see, Brother Lawrence. Good morning to you as well. And good morning to you, Eagles 333. Good morning. Good morning to all of you. And let's get straight to this lesson because we only got a few minutes. I want to talk to you for a few minutes about how to set your family up for life. So we're going to talk about a character you don't hear much about in the Bible. His name is Jonathan. And Jonathan is David's best friend. And Jonathan is an amazing person to follow. The reason he's an amazing person to follow is because he's one of the rare people in life who learns how to play Batman to Robin, who learns how to play Tonto to the Lone Ranger. He's one of the rare people in life who exalts his family's life because of his own humility. He He sets his family up for eternal blessings based on his willingness to get in where he fits in. He ain't trying to be the main man. This is a brother that's got a lot of wisdom. If we can learn the wisdom of Jonathan, we can really hook our families up, because our families, sometimes we want to be the person that's in front, but it's not always necessary to be the person that's in front. Sometimes somebody else is a better leader than we are, and we're better suited to help that person to get where it is they're going. But that's a hard thing for most people to do. I'm gonna have to do this in two parts. I'm gonna give part to you now before I go get a haircut. And if he finishes my hair in time, I'll give you part two before we start our challenge. So this is going to be part one, because we just don't have enough time. Thank you, Bernadette. That's real kind of you to pray for that young man. That's real kind of you. We appreciate that. So let's get straight to the story. Here's Jonathan. Now you got to understand this. David has just killed Goliath. So Saul takes David and he says, man, you're going to come to my crib from now on. You ain't going back to, because you're a champion. You know, you've risen to international prominence with one fight. You're the heavyweight champ of the world with just one fight. You knocked Goliath off, and could none of us beat him. All of us were afraid of him. We was all taking in our boots. We were going to be slaves to the Philistines if this dude whooped us. So you didn't really set free an entire nation. So you're a bad man, David. So you know what? Come on over to my crib. All right. He said, come on and go with me. Come on over to my place. See, the problem with Saul, though, is that he bipolar as hell. So he telling David to come over to the crib, but watch, in a few minutes, he going to be coming at the dude that just saved his life. I stopped by to tell you all this morning, you are not the first person to help save somebody's life. And the very person whose life you helped to save is the one that's trying to kill you. Don't think that you're the only person that ever been through that. You said, Brother Ricky, I got some people, man, my own kids, my own mother, my own father, my own sister, my own brother, my own business colleague. I got some folks that I didn't have to deal with who I treated like Fort Knox gold, and they act a plumb fool. Well, you need to read the Bible so that you can understand you ain't the first person. Then it won't be so hard for you to be able to function when the people that come at you are the ones that you help the most. You'll understand that this has been going on for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. That way you can be able to function, because when you get blindsided by somebody and they do something to you and you figure you didn't have it coming and you've been kind to them, and you can't, and if that stuff, it'll stop all of your growth, it'll stop your program, it'll stop you, whatever your mission is, it'll just cut it, because you're like, man, I just can't believe they did this to me. Well, believe it, okay? Believe it, believe it, believe it, believe it, okay? Just like God had to forgive you for all the crazy stuff you done, you're gonna have to forgive some folks who ain't even sorry. Are you listening to me? Saul is gonna die like this. He ain't gonna never apologize to David. Hey, listen, well, he's gonna apologize with some fake apologies. But the real reason he stopped chasing David, because he ended up getting killed. All right. Some people gonna hate you, and the only thing that's gonna stop them from coming at you is they're gonna die. Are you listening to me? They ain't gonna never say they're sorry. They ain't gonna never repent. They ain't gonna never change their attitude towards you. They're gonna be mean and rotten until the day they drop dead. Understand that. But you don't have to be worried about that, because it's not your job to try to control people. It's your job to kick butt and take names, baby. See, David is a warrior, a winner, and you are too. You are a warrior and a winner, which means that you just focus on winning and going back and forth to war on a regular daily basis. Don't worry about how people receive you. Watch what happens here, because I'm talking to you today about how to set your family up for life. Excuse me. And if you're going to set your family up for life, you're going to have to deal with the hatred, the jealousy, and the pettiness of people around you, because when you are setting people up for life, there are people who are trying to cut off what you're doing. Listen to me. While you are planning, other people are plotting. You say, what's the difference between a plot and a plan, Ricky? A plan is for everybody's good. A plot is to bring about everybody's demise. Now, you dig what I'm saying? And there are people right now around you who are plotting to make sure that your life ain't about nothing, your kids' life ain't about nothing, and to make sure that ain't no generational wealth in your family, and to make sure that you live a worthless life. There are people around you right now who are plotting like that. Don't count it not strange concerning the fiery trials which are to try you. Come on, I got to get into this lesson. The prelude is going to take up the whole time. So let's just get into the lesson. So we're in 2 Kings. We're talking this morning about how to set your family up for life. Not 2 Kings, we're in 1 Samuel, I'm sorry. 1 Samuel, the 18th chapter. So let's just read a little bit, because I'm only going to get into the introduction. I got to go get a haircut. All right. And I promise you I'll come back and finish if I have enough time. It said, and it came to pass when he had made it unto Saul that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David. And Jonathan loved him as his own soul. Now let's just stop right there. Jonathan is crazy about David. Man, if you had just one Jonathan in your life, man, it would save you from so much grief. Why? Because you need somebody in your life who really straight up got your back. I mean, stomped down like 4 flat tires. You need somebody in your life who is crazy in love with you. It might be your husband. It might be your wife. It might be your brother. It might be a sister. It might be a relative, or it could just be a friend. You need somebody that loves you like nobody else loves you. Let me tell you something about Jonathan. Jonathan loved David. Jonathan loved David more than his own wife loved him. Are you digging what I'm saying? Good morning, Angeline. How you doing, dear? How do I know that? Because a little later on, you're going to find out that David's wife that Saul gave him is a player hater because she got the same attitude Saul got. You're going to find out later she a jealous chick, just like Saul, a jealous dude. She got it honest. She got it from her daddy, you did. But not Jonathan. Jonathan ain't no jealous dude. Jonathan got so much sense. He about to set his whole family's lineage up forever to be some ballers and some shot callers. Why? Because he got enough sense to play second fiddle to a king. I got to ask you a question. Do you always have to be the one in charge? I got to ask you a question. Do you always have to be the person that's in the forefront? I got to ask you a question. Can you ever get on the sideline and bag somebody else up? Do it have to be you all the time? Do it every single time? Can you just get in where you fit in? All right. Are you digging what I'm saying? Can you get in where you fit in with can you love somebody so much until you'll give your life to make sure that they be okay? Do you love somebody like that? I mean, that's real love. I mean, that's exciting when you get up in the morning and you know you kicking it with a winner. You know the person that you're kicking it with is a straight up winner, and you ain't jealous of them. You try to get behind them and give them a tailwind to help push them out into the spotlight. This is the attitude that Jonathan got. And watch how it ends up paying off for his life. If we get enough time to see that. It's 8:45. I doubt if we're going to get enough time to see that because I got to get out of here in 15 minutes. All right. He says, so Saul took him that day, and we're talking about David. It said it would not let him go to his house anymore. He said, then Jonathan and David made a covenant because he loved them as he loved his own soul. Now listen to me. There's a big difference between a covenant and just a mere contract. All right. A covenant is different from a contract. A covenant is written in blood. A contract is just something that 2 people sign so that you can say, I got your signature and you got mine. So if you try to cross me, we got it in writing. See, that's a contract, but that's not what we enter into. When we enter relationships with one another, we enter into a covenant. A covenant is cold-blooded. It's way more substantive than a contract. A contract ain't nothing. It's just a checkup on each other, but it ain't no love in it. It ain't no blood, sweat, and tears inside of it. In a covenant means that every other possibility is cut off. That's what a covenant means, to cut off. So every other possibility is cut off. Do you know how many people still be married if they entered a covenant instead of contract? People so fickle until you enter into a marriage with a prenuptial agreement. What the hell? What kind of demonic nonsense is that? That ain't the Bible. That ain't God. That ain't how God operates. What kind of evil? That ain't nothing but a sexual agreement. What the hell? You finna marry somebody? That means that you enter into what? A covenant. Meaning that, you know what, baby? I'd rather die than cross you. You know what, baby? I'd rather die than cross you. That's what a covenant is. A covenant is way different from a contract. A contract is some little weak stuff. You dig what I'm saying? It don't have no real power to it. It don't have no real sustainability to it. Why? Because it's got an out clause. All right. You sign a contract with the idea that, Negro, if you don't act right, I'm out of here. All right. You sign it with that attitude. You go into your marriage like that. You go into your business like that. You go into your ministries like that. It is a joke. And then you see people and you wonder why they can't get along, because we set the stuff we signed said that we probably ain't gonna get along. All right. And if you take me off, I'm up out of here. All right. So you wake up in the morning, you married, and you like, hey girl, what's going on? And you say, what's that I'm smelling in there? She in that burning water. He like, you burning water, you can't cook nothing. She like, he's like, you know what, you up out of here, baby. You in here burning water. What the hell? And then she look over at you, and she look at you, and she like, hey man, that's what you really look like after you get that, after that black stuff come out your hair, Brother Rick. Because I always get to go, I go get that black stuff. You know, I'm gonna go get a haircut right now, right? You gonna put that black stuff in my hair. It's fake black stuff, but it look good on camera, you did. But Ashante, if she was kicking it with me for the black stuff, when that stuff ran out, she run out the crib. She run out the room. You dig what I'm saying? So what am I saying? I'm saying these relationships ain't based on no superficial stuff. These relationships are based on substance. And when you abuse your relationship, that's substance abuse. You like, Brother Rick, I ain't never abused no substance, you dig? I ain't never smoked no weed. I ain't never took no cocaine. I ain't never smoked no angel dust. I ain't talking about that kind of substance. I'm talking about the substance of your relationship. It's substance abuse when your relationship ain't got no what? No substance. I'm telling you, some of y'all, as soon as you got married, it was a week later and you talking about, I'm out of here. You start actually threatening the person. Talking about, man, do that one more time. I'm gone. All right. You know what? Why? Because you saw that stuff in your own house. You saw people who don't live based on covenants. So you observed wishy-washy bipolar people. How you dig? I know I did. What? My mama used to pimp slap my father. He ain't never get along with my mother. All right, are you listening to me? And it rubbed off on me. But I know me and Shantae done broke up so many times. Are you dig what I'm saying? Only reason we together is because of Jesus Christ, the grace of God. I ain't got no track record to go by. I ain't got nothing. I ain't got nothing in my house that taught me what a covenant is like. Now, you dig what I'm saying? I grew up in a crib where Negro, I wish a Negro would. You dig? Just get out of order. All right, I got something for that. That's what I grew up around. And when you grow up around that kind of stuff, you got to just make up your mind as an individual. You know what? I don't care what everybody else did. I'm going to live up under a covenant. All right? I'm just going to look at the Bible, take it verbatim, and then make my life like that. Why? Because I want those kind of results. I don't want the dysfunctional results that happen in my crib. What the hell? I grew up, my brother was a pimp. He had a hoe in my house. All right. This is what I grew up at. Both my nephews are dead. I've been tied up in the crib with duct tape on my mouth. You dig what I'm saying? I had pistols put to my head. You know what I'm saying? That's what I grew up under. It was just normal. It was just regular stuff to grow up under. But it ain't regular. It ain't normal. It ain't the way you ought to be living your life. So what I'm going to do? It's Jesus that changed my life. I'm like, okay, Lord, one of my brothers got saved. I'm like, all right, look like he got some sense. Let me check out what he's doing. And thank God for my brother Jerome. But what's my point here? You the one who make a decision whether or not you want to enter into agreements, little contracts, or whether you want to enter into a covenant or not. Are you dig what I'm saying? You the one who decide that. It's your personal decision. Do you want to live a dysfunctional life where your word don't mean nothing for the rest of your life? And y'all all at odds with one another all the time because all this arguing and all this kind of stuff is just because it's 17 people in the room. You like, Brother Ricky, what you mean? I mean, it's 17 people in your house. You say, what you talking about, Brother Ricky? I'm talking about ain't nothing but you, husband, or you and your wife, but it's 17 spirits up in there. Are you dig what I'm saying? Y'all be arguing so much, you done forgot what you're even arguing about. Why? Because you're just used to dysfunction. You ain't used to no covenant relationship. So your relationship is too doggone, it's too chaotic. Are you listening to me? It's too many options that's going on around. When you got a lot of options, you are a very confused person. You dig what I'm saying? You're not making decisions, you're making choices. You say, what do you mean, Ricky? What's the difference between a choice and a decision? The word decision means decide to do something. Are you listening to me? To decide to do something. Decide means D, of or from, and side means to cut off. So when you make a decision, that means that you cut off all other possibilities. That simplifies your life because you're like, I'm sitting here looking at you. It's like the dude who married the woman. She married a chick. She wasn't fine, but she could sing real good. So he married the woman, and he woke up the next morning and he looked at her. He was like, oh. He woke up. She said, what? She said, what's wrong, baby? Baby, what's wrong? What's wrong? He said, woman, sing something fast. All right. Hit a note. Right. Scared the hell out of him. So what's my point? So you should have known she had some inertial lips before you went to bed. All right. You saw them lips. I don't know what you got caught up in. Y'all better laugh at my jokes. I'll cut y'all off. I got some funny jokes. You better laugh at my stuff. So what's my point? My point is that you're going to always see something in a person that you didn't see at first when you was all caught up in infatuation and all that sort of thing. Now you got to deal with real life and people corns on their toes and how the way they pass gas and all that kind of. You can't just break up with folks over all that nonsense. Are you digging what I'm saying? You got to come into the real world. This ain't TV. This ain't 90120 or whatever. People don't look like that. Ain't real life. In real life, people got flaws and plenty of them, and you got plenty of them too. And if I was you, I would look at myself and I'd be dealing with those flaws way more than I'd be trying to deal with somebody else's flaws. Do you dig what I'm saying? When you wake up in the morning, look in the mirror. When you wake up in the morning, don't be trying to take the mirror and turn around and put it on them while they half sleep. Are you dig what I'm saying? That is such a fake way to live because we all got so much stuff inside of us that need help on a regular basis until we need to enter into some covenants. Man, I ain't got time to preach this thing. I ain't even got time to get into the third verse of this. This is like a 2-week training just to teach us the idea of covenant living. That take about 2 weeks for us to really learn this. It would take at least an hour a day for about 2 weeks just to get the idea of covenant living. It would just, we so far from covenants. Why? Because we don't see them. When you don't see a covenant around you, it's hard. You have to learn what a covenant is when you ain't never seen one around you. All right. And in this time and era that we're in right now, with everybody breaking up every 6 minutes about stuff, it's a straight up joke. It used to be where people stayed together for 50 years and stuff. And it was just written in blood. We ain't going nowhere. All right. We're going to argue it out. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. They would even forgive each other for affairs and everything. Man, please. People, right now, you step on my baby toe just a little bit. All right. And you up out of here, partner. Why? Because I ain't no covenant person. This is the difference between generational domination and generational curses. You have to be the first person in your family. Let everybody know we are going to live a stable life, man. We're not running off on each other. Are you listening to me? We ain't throwing in the towel so doggone easy. You said, Brother Ricky, you and Shantae broke up 3 times. Yeah, that make it, I'm real qualified to tell you about what it takes to stay together. All right. I can teach you real good about how to mess up a relationship because we learn so many ways too. You want some relationship counseling? Come and holler at me and Shantae. I bet whatever it is y'all going through right now, I bet you we could tell you, oh man, that was 3 years ago in April. We was arguing about the same thing. We was snapping on each other about the same thing. We was running out the room about each other, the same thing. We done went through some hell with each other. Don't get it twisted, all right? I know y'all meeting people that's got these wonderful Teflon relationships and stuff, but that ain't been our reality. Our reality is we done fought like hell, but we done stayed together. All right. So I don't know what yours is like. I just want to encourage you because maybe right now you might be fighting like hell trying to stay together with somebody, but we fought it out. And every once in a while we keep fighting it out as we speak right now. What's my point? Because it's a covenant, baby. And when it's a covenant, that means you got to put some blood, sweat, some tears, and some grit, and some crying, and some snotting, and some. You got to do what you got to do. All right, because it's a covenant. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Man, I wish I had time to preach this thing. I got about 4 minutes left. I got to get out of here because I told this man I was gonna. So I'm introducing you to this idea today, and that's the idea of how to set your family up for life. And the first thing I want you to understand is the way that you set your family up for life is that you enter into covenants. What? With people. Because God sets things up through people. Now, first of all, if you got a covenant with God, it ain't so hard to make a covenant with people. But it's real hard to make a covenant with people when you ain't got no agreement with God. Why? Because if you ain't got no agreement with God, you don't have the strength to keep the agreement with the person. Now, you dig what I'm saying? So the first covenant ought to be with God. Say, hey, Lord, I'm entering into this business relationship. I'm entering into this marriage. I'm entering into this mission with this person over here. You know I got some issues. All right. And you know they got some issues. Okay, so you know it ain't gonna last unless you give me some supernatural power to have some patience and some love and the kind of enduring qualities that a covenant is made of. Okay, Lord. So I'm gonna make a covenant with you. If you'll give me the strength to do it, I'll do it. All right. Now you know God gonna give you the strength to do it because that request is absolutely positively right down God's street. So God is like, oh, you want the strength to be able to carry out a covenant? Oh, you want the power to be able to keep your word? Oh, you want the power to be forgiven? Oh, you want the power to be able to keep walking straight? Oh, you want the power to be loving and kind in the middle of chaos? Ooh, you want to be able to hold on and all this sort of thing? You want to stop being such a sensitive person, everything get on your nerves? You want the victory of all them devils and stuff? This is what God's saying to us. He's like, okay, you got it. All right. He said, ask me for something so right. What, you want to live right? I was like, all right, word up. Okay, you want to live, right? I'm stoned down like 4 flat tires with that. All right, bam, you got the power right now. So that's why people, let me tell you something. Man, I got to get out of here. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something why people are so afraid of God. I'm convinced of this. Let me tell you why people are so afraid to talk to God. I'm convinced of this. I'm convinced that people are afraid to talk to God because they're afraid he might actually do what they said. Why? Because that means now I got to actually live up to what I asked for. That's why you don't see nobody praying too much for, hey, Lord, I really pray that you would bless me with some humility because I'm just a little bit too stuck up. You know, I need some more humility, Lord, because why? He'll give it to you. And then you say, no, then you know what's going to happen? Then he's going to let the next thing in your life, the next thing that happens to you, he's going to let it humiliate you. And you're like, man, Lord, I ain't, what's up with that? He said, you asked for some humility, right? You're like, yeah. He said, well, the only way you're going to get some humility is I'm going to have to let somebody and something humiliate you. You're like, no. I want the humility, but I don't want the humiliation. And God is like, you smoking crack. All right. You ain't going to get no humility without the humiliation that come along with it. You trying to go to heaven without dying? What you talking about? It just comes along with the course. That's why everybody want to be rich and stuff. God is like, if you want to be rich, you're going to have to learn how to go through some hell. You're like, well, what that got to do with being rich, Lord? Because the Bible says before honor is humility. And riches, that means that you're being honored. All it is God just honoring you. And the money is just the byproduct of the honor. See, money is just the child of honor. Honor, it just births money. But in order for you to have some honor, you got to have some humility, because before honor is humility. So are you listening to the pattern? Okay, before honor is humility. So if you want some honor that produces money, then you have to have humility. Humility is the parent to honor. Honor is the parent to money. So humility is your grandmama and your granddaddy if you want some money. Are you digging what I'm saying? So you can't do that. You can't. The grandmother has the child that has the child. Are you listening to me? The child doesn't make the grandmother makes the child. So the grandmother is humility. And then humility turns around and creates honor. And then honor turns around and it creates plenty of money. How? That's how I got so much money. Why? Because I haven't been through so much hell. That's why. Excuse me. All the humility I've dealt with in my life has landed me into the multimillionaire status. Are you listening to me? And it ain't no way around that. It ain't no way around it. So you know what you might as well do? You might as well volunteer for the humility. Instead of saying, hey, Lord, instead of steady doing stuff that make you where you ain't got no choice but to bow down, then you might as well just take the low road. Are you listening to me? I'm gonna give you one story. And I told this to my team, and I got to get out of here because I told this man, I got to get out of here. All right. So let me tell you this one story, and I promise you I'm gonna finish y'all just wave at me in the spirit. Somebody put it in the chat. Do we need this lesson today? Do we need this? Just tell me, do we need this lesson? Matter of fact, do we need this series? Because to me, I believe this is a series that we need to be doing on the idea of how to set your family up for life. But the major thing we're going to be talking about throughout the series is covenant, and what a covenant really is, because this is what happened between David and Jonathan. And I don't have time to teach it to you right now. All right. I got to go get my fake black haircut. All right. Rashad, you say that's cool. Amoni, you say that's cool. All right, Deborah, you say that's cool. We need a series. All right, we go make a series. All right, so I got this one story to tell you before I go. So me and Shantae, we done been through a whole lot together. All right. At one time, just going through so much financial stuff together until we got a building together. So Shantae is like, you're gonna have to keep this building up, Rick. If you don't keep this building up, then I'm gonna have to put on. Now we going back and forth, right? 1 minute we married, then we get divorced. Then we married, then we get divorced. Now, I remember, I don't think we was even married at this time. I think we was in the middle of arguing again. All right. So I'm just going to get real. Can I get real raw with y'all for just a second before I go get this haircut, before I get this fake black hair? Can I get real before I get this fake black haircut this morning? So she's like, look, if you don't pay this thing in the next few days, I'm just going to put, I'm going to put it up for sale or something. Or I'm going to put a 5-day notice on your crib. And I'm like, what the hell? You gonna put a 5-day notice? I'm talking. This Shantae talking to me. I'm like, you must want your head. We must want to get pimp slapped back to Africa. Put something on that door if you want to. Why? Because I got a lot of street inside of me. You start talking slick, and it started coming out. So she did it. I was so mad. I was like, what the hell? Are you nuts? Now, this is before I got rich, obviously, right? Because we going back and forth through changes and stuff, but I still had a lot of stuff that was working, and it wouldn't be long before I was going to be a millionaire. But at the time, some stuff just got behind because we're doing this and doing that, doing this and doing that. You dig? But she didn't want to hear all that because Shantae, a very stable person. She still got her lunch money from third grade, a 980 credit score. I'm like, how the hell, how you get a 980 credit score? It only go up to 850. You dig what I'm saying? So she used to doing everything, like that. Me, I'm an impulsive person, I know how to make millions of dollars. I told her that when I met her. I told her I'd be a multi-millionaire. She's like, yeah, but you ain't now. Pay them bills. All right. So we's always argued, right? Because she used to doing things from a job perspective, and I'm used to thinking like a millionaire. It is what it is. Okay. So that created a lot of argument. Okay. Are you digging what I'm saying? So all right now, because y'all want to get rich, but y'all don't want to suffer no humility. All right. Y'all be overreacting and stuff, and then you be shooting yourself in the foot. So she put this thing on my door, and I was like, oh, hell no. Hell to the no. So I went over to a crib. So I got all kind of stuff on my mind, right? Because we got two different houses, right? So I went over to a crib, and so this is what was. Now I got that John Shaft music I'm playing in the car while I'm driving down the street. I'm thinking about growing my perm back. You dig what I'm saying? With the mahogany rims, all the street stuff is. I'm riding down the street. I'm like, diamond in the back, sunroof top. Digging the scene with a gangster lean. Ooh, ooh. Man, I'm talking about big pimping is going on in my head. I'm like, I don't know who the hell she thinks she is. She about to get dealt with. So when I got to the crib, I say, you go over there and sit down. So she sat down on the couch, because she knows. She done got her. She bringing a showing up player out of Brother Ricky. I'm like, sit on that couch. So she went on the couch. I went and got me a pad. I mean, a little pan of stuff. So she's sitting down. I know she wondered what the hell, what he about to do. He about to scald me with some water or something like that. So I went and got the pan, and I brought it over to her, and I put her feet in it. I said, put your feet in there. She put her feet in the pan. So I just started washing her feet. I told everybody else in the challenge yesterday, the day before, I don't know. So she just out there, you know what? Because before honor is what? Humility. Okay? Humility, then honor, then what? Then you get rich. Humility, then honor, then what? Then you get rich. You know what I did? I got on my knees and I said, I'm about to go off and snap. So instead of going off and snapping, I got on my knees and I washed Shantae's feet. You know what ended up happening? I ended up catching up with all the bills on that crib. I ended up being able to take the crib totally out of a company's name. I was able to do what? My credit score went from 500 to 760. All right. My business went from $100,000 a year to $100,000 a day to $1 million in a day. All right. I'm telling you, I'm showing you the pattern of covenant and the difference between what real humility is and all. Are you digging what I'm saying? You're going to have to do the opposite of what you feeling if you want to get rich. If you want to set your family up forever, you're going to have to cut this nonsense out, and you're going to have to learn how to take it. Are you listening to me? And you're going to have to learn how to do the opposite of what's going on in your head, especially with the good people around you, because Shantae is a good woman. She's a very good woman. She's an amazingly good woman. All right. And just because she's a good woman and all this sort of thing, don't mean she ain't got on my nerves and made me want to go back, get that baby powder back out. Don't get it twisted. I done felt like that. But my point is what? My point is that just because you feel a certain kind of way, it don't mean that you actually carry the nonsense out. You dig what I'm saying? You suck it up. And you say, you know what, Lord? I know we got bigger fish to fry. Are you digging what I'm saying? I'm trying to help y'all out. All right. I know you ain't going to hardly see nobody come on here talking that real. All right. They ain't going to come on here telling you how it really go, how it be really going in their crib and stuff. They ain't going to get out like that. Why? Because they got these little fake images everybody want to have. But I'm not here for that. I'm here to try to help us all be able to make it. And if we're going to make it, it's going to have to be some real humility up in this joint. That's the only point I can even make today because I got to go. All right. I got to go. Lord bless you all. Enjoy the rest of your morning. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. I love you. And ain't nothing you can do about that. And I promise you that this is a series. All right. I don't know if it's going to take 5 different lessons to teach y'all the series, but this is going to be a series on how to set your family up for life. And when I come back, we're going to finish talking about David and Jonathan and how his story worked out. It may be today if you can finish in time. If not, we'll try to pick up on this a little later on. All right. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful morning. Be blessed in the city and the field. And remember that stellar is as stellar does. Enjoy your morning. Everybody, enjoy your morning. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Enjoy your morning.